Hi everyone and welcome back to Rural Renovation. As you may see, the month is now September and we have a cute little pumpkin outside of our house. So the first thing I did this morning was decide to go and feed the dog. He doesn't have a name yet, so I'm leaving that up to you in the comments below. So as the dog came to get his food, he didn't run through the big gates that I peacefully placed last time. He ran straight through the hedge, and now I am aware that there's a hole there which I can do nothing about. So that is wonderful, and that means that my house is no longer as secure as I thought. When I arrived at my yard this morning where I'm going to put all my machinery, I had a note on my new structure that says the metal is not allowed and that there's chemicals on the metal that's affecting the fish in the lake. So the first thing I had to do was move my machinery so I can get the building started. I just moved them out the way a little bit in front of my house. And while I was doing this, I was thinking about the materials that I could use instead to make the different sheds for my machinery. And I came to the conclusion that probably the most environmentally friendly thing that I could do was not use metal. So I had to knock this down and start again. As you can see here, I am changing the shape of the yard to make it a little bit more square so that the sheds can fit in a bit better. I'm using dirt still to make it a little bit more natural and a bit more environmentally friendly and more pleasing to look at than concrete. I also made the road in front of it a little bit bigger so that access can be a lot easier when coming in and out of the yard. And I also made it quite wide to get in and out and maneuver around with all these big machines that I will be having on the yard as well. So as you can see here, I decided on a more French looking design for the sheds, and I also added a silo in, and then I just started moving the machinery in. Do you know how long this took me? I had to move every single stone, every single tile by myself. It was such back-breaking work that I think I deserve a rest and a raise in money. And once it was all finished, I did take a couple of days to just sit and admire the work that I did, and everything was also sourced from a local manufacturer. So I was doing a bit for the community instead of polluting, like I originally was. As you can see here, I'm just putting in a fence to make everything a bit more cornered off and can show where the yard starts and stops. And because I want everything to be perfect for my boss, I also decided to change the colour of the area around the silo to make it more suitable and brighter. And seeing as I had a note from the government saying that I was not allowed to build a metal shed, I also put my own different types of plants in to make the scenery look a bit better and to contribute a bit more to the environment so that the government stays a bit happier with me building and making all these changes. So that maybe in the future, if I do something questionable, they might be a bit more lenient towards me. Here you can see I'm just sorting out the grass along the edges of stuff and making up for the mess that I've made next to my field. All this gardening had me tired, so I just sat next to the lake and apologised to every individual fish that I almost poisoned to death and promised that there will be something better in place in the future. I sat and watched the hours go by, got caught up in a bit of rain, but who cares, because isn't nature lovely before I ruin it all these buildings and pollution that I'm going to bring in? And while I was sat there, I actually noticed something out of the corner of my eye which looked like a human, which doesn't make sense because this is meant to be uninhabited. Anyway, I thought nothing of it, thought it was just a deer, and carried on with my day. As I had my notebook with me, I jotted down a little bit of planning for the next upcoming months and decided that the next thing I'm going to tackle is to plant something in the field so that I can harvest something in the new year. I then got up as it was getting a bit darker in the afternoon and had a look to see where I should place some lights, which I did. And now the yard looks much better and brighter and less creepy. Although I can't say much about the nighttime because I haven't witnessed it yet, but we will see soon. Also, the lights will help me if I have to work long hours in the dark, and I won't be as scared for being on my own. And hopefully the dog will be able to see when I'm getting attacked. Although if I see the dog getting attacked, he will not be getting my help. I stayed outside a little bit longer to see how well the lights worked, and they did not disappoint. However, when I started moving back to my house, I noticed that the alleyway, or the street, going up to my house is a little bit too dark for my liking, so I ran all the way home like the little piggy from The Three Little Pigs and the Wolf, and shut the gate so that nothing could come in after me, and just carried on in the house and went to bed shortly after. After a good long sleep after all the hard work I've done, I woke up the next morning and decided to go and admire my new sheds. However, on the way there, I noticed something was off and I couldn't really put my finger on it. Did a double take and realised that someone had built a house right in the middle of the field that I was going to start working on this month. So I started marching over to confront the person and completely stepped past the house and found that my tractor was turned upside down and had hit a rock, which means that damage has been taken and it would be a bit harder for me to carry out my job of planting the field. I also had a look for the culprit because who's going to pay for these damages done to my tractor? Certainly not me because I did not cause this. Also, the shed looks very eerily similar to the house that I did knock down as well. It also looks to be made out of wood from the trees around us, which means that someone might be living here. So, join me in the next episode to find out who this person is, what they want, and why they're here. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.